What's good, YouTube? It's Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with that quick video. We're going to talk about OKC. Russell Westbrook lost Kevin Durant last year. He was able to get Paul George this year. They turned out from being a team that we thought was going to be rebuilding to a team that actually won 47 games. And with that being said, we were surprised. Russell Westbrook became the MVP. He averaged a triple-double, averaged over 30 points a game. He improved his three-point percentage to 34%, something that he always lacked. And he's shooting the ball with a lot more confidence. He's playing at a higher level than he ever played, even though he did have a couple bad fourth quarters and a couple bad games, including in the playoffs. He tried hard. He put everything he had into the game. And with that being said, he was rewarded with the MVP. Obviously, I didn't really agree with it, but it is what it is. It's time to move forward with that and get ready for the next season. He has a new teammate in Paul George. His defense has slipped a little bit. He's not the elite defender that he once was. I thought he'd get that back last year at Indy because he had more talent around him. And when you have more talent, it becomes easier on the offensive end because you don't have to really worry about that because you got other people that can score the basketball in multiple ways. You have Miles Turner, you got Al Jefferson, you got Jeff Teague, and you had C.J. Miles hit the spot up threes. But he did put up higher efficiency numbers, but his defense just wasn't at that all-NBA defensive level. And we don't know if he'll ever get back to that. He already was sliding a little bit, and then he broke his leg, and that made him, he had to recover and get back to his level. And you got to give him credit that he came back. He was able to average 20 points back when he came back the whole season. This year, he was able to up his efficiency. He became a great player still. He's still one of the top 15, top 10 players, depending on what you look for in a player in the league. I like him. He's a tough shot maker. He can knock down the spot up three. He can handle the ball. He had 8 assists a game in the Cleveland series, so that showed that he improved his ability to be a playmaker. And he put the team in a good positions to win. He hit a lot of big shots. He didn't hit the game winners, but he hit a lot of shots that gave his team opportunities to win the game. And that's all you can really ask for from a superstar and a star is to give you an opportunity to win the game. And he did that, but they just failed to execute down the stretch and later in the minutes of the games, and they lost. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do is give your team a chance to win, and he did that. And now he's on a new team. He got traded for Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis. I don't really like that trade. I feel like they could have got more. He wanted to leave. He's on a one-year deal, so they try to get something for him, and they end up just getting Victor Oladipo and Sabonis. But it's a steal for OKC because at the end of the day, you trade Serge Ibaka for Paul George. Paul George is the better player, but Serge Ibaka is a player that don't need the ball to be effective, and he can score and play his role without needing the ball because he's a guy that is a role player. But Paul George, he's going to need the ball, but it actually is a good thing because Russell Westbrook, at the end of the day, he has the ball in his hands too much. He needs a guy that can relieve that pressure off him, especially in the fourth quarters, that can make big shots so that all the weight don't fall on Russell Westbrook's shoulders. So with that being said, at the end of the day, this is a big trade for them, because they needed another scorer, they needed another ball handler, and Victor Oladipo wasn't that guy, and now they got that guy in Paul George. So with that being said, I like that trade. And now the problem now is that can they keep Paul George after this season? And they said he want to go to LA. They said he might go to other teams. There's a lot of teams that would like a guy like Paul George, obviously, but now they have to make sure that him and Russell Westbrook click because they want to have an opportunity to keep him and Paul George together. And if they can do that, they're going to be one of the top teams in the West. They have the talent. They have Steven Adams, a solid defender. I won't say great defender. He's not a great defender to me, but he's a solid defender. He needs to step up his rebound game and his ability to protect the rim. He's athletic. He's mobile. He's improving, and he has become a better scorer over the years, especially since he first came in the league. And then you have Enes Kanter, a guy that broke his hand, but he's highly effective in the post. He needs to work on his playmaking out of the post. And now that Russell and Paul George and all the other players on this team, they have a little bit more shooting, but not enough. But that will help the ball. I mean, help Enes Kanter with the ball in his hands when he's in the post to kick it out to the shooters or able to give him the floor space, and so he can make a quick move and get a quick bucket in the post. So with that being said, I like the team. They're going to win over 50 games, guaranteed. They won 47 without Paul George. The NBA did get harder, and the West did get more stacked, so it is going to be harder to win games. But the ability to relieve the pressure off Russell Westbrook will be one of the important keys for this team. is to help him get easier shots, to help him get easier buckets, and still trust on his playmaking ability and his ability to cause chaos on the offensive end for anybody that's defending him and any team. So it's going to be hard to guard this team. They have solid role players like Norris Cole. They have Jeremiah Grant. He was a long athletic body that they traded for, and he ended up becoming a solid player for them. Doug McDermott can shoot the three, even though he's been off and on and he don't really get consistent minutes. He is another 6'8" body that can spread the floor. Patrick Patterson is a guy that's going to be pivotal for them because he's a stretch four and he adds size, length, and mobility to that lineup. Andre Robertson is a guy that I'm not the hugest fan of, but he can play the 2 or the 3. Even if they want to play Paul George at the stretch 4, they can put him at the 3 or the 2, and he's a solid defender to go along Paul George on the perimeter. So that's tough. It's going to be tough to beat this team with Paul George and Robertson in the perimeter, and then you have Steven Adams in that paint, and then on offensive end you got all these people that can shoot. And you put, besides Andre Robertson, and then you put Enes Kanter in the game with a lineup at the 5, or you put Steven Adams at the 5 and try to surround him with Patrick Patterson and Paul George and have a little bit more opportunity for Russell Westbrook to get to the paint and get the shots that he wants, and he can always kick it off or dump it off to Steven Adams, and that's high efficient basketball, especially for the pick and rolls and the pick and pops with Patrick Patterson, but he's not that good of a shooter yet, but he'll be solid with Russell Westbrook because he's going to get a lot of open and easy looks and a lot of dump-offs too, probably, just like Taj Gibson did. So I like the roster. I like what they did. Kyle Sigler is a guy that can knock down spot-up threes too in the corner. They not really paying too many people money besides Steven Adams, Enes Kanter, Paul George, and Russell. That's their core. Do I think that core can win a championship? No. But that's because Golden State, San Antonio, and Houston are great teams too. And you're in the West, and it's going to be tough to win games in general in the playoff series. But they have a lot more talent than a lot of other teams, and that will help them win a lot of games just based off talent. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how Paul George approached the season. We'll see how they run plays for Paul George. We'll see if he had the ball in his hands like he did against Cleveland. He did average 8 assists, so he can play Russell off the ball a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis signing out. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. The link will be in the description in the comment section below. Also, my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. It'll be in the description and in the comment section below. Thanks for watching Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I think they're going to win over 50 games. I think they probably get to the second round. If they do lose in the first round, it'll be against Golden State, San Antonio, or Houston. And that's how it should be because those teams are just as talented. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm gone.